Hi, I'm David. Welcome to another episode of Changing Times. Our guest is Claire Simmo, a radio personality and fundraising manager at Whiston Hospital Charity. Please enjoy and stay safe. Hi Claire, how's everything going?
Well, apart from my roots, it's not going too badly at all. I've got terrible nails. My roots are growing through again. I'm going to have to Melody to do them, my daughter. Getting quite good with stuck-on eyelashes, learning that. It's all these beauty tricks, and I've even had a little go of tweezer in my eyebrows. You know, pandemic goals, all that kinds of things.
Self-beauty, that's what it's all about.
Well, yeah, I've got a long way to go with that one with me.
So, for everyone that's watching, please tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and what's your profession.
Oh gosh, this will be a long one. My name's Claire Simmo. I work at the moment, hopefully for a long time to come as well, for the NHS at Whiston Hospital. I'm also known from being a radio presenter, worked at Radio City, Greatest Hits. Was due to be starting at Radio Merseyside on Easter Monday, doing some cover shifts, which I was really excited about. Unfortunately, and rightly so, with social distancing, that's going to take some time before I'm getting there, but looking forward to it. And I host events and get to work with wonderful people like yourselves.
Yeah, no, we've worked with you a lot, and it's always a pleasure, and you always bring the best out of the event and us as well.
Oh no, it's lovely. It's really great. Whenever I look, and we kind of like always work a lot of stuff together now, and we just know each other. We've got past the point of writing scripts and things, and you just kind of go, just go with it now, fling me on a stage, don't you?
I know you can
But yeah,
do it.
it's weird to think that like sort of every weekend you're working Saturday, Sunday nights, Friday nights in some cases, because that's the main part of your job, like hosting events. And you know, the amount of nights that you do turn up to gigs and you think, oh gosh, just want a night at home. And now when you've done 12 weeks without a gig, you know, not even just the money side of it, it's weird. It's weird.
It is. And that was going to be the first question, really, because obviously with the pandemic and lockdown and stuff, how has that affected you? And not only with work and stuff, but yourself?
Massively so. I mean, like I say, the money side of it. I think everyone thinks, because you've been in radio for years, that you're somebody who's like loaded and you've got tons of money and stuff. That's certainly not the case. And you know, there's people a lot worse than me, but the money I relied on was money for doing gigs, and obviously that's all gone. But you know, and I think probably, as you well know, that side of the industry, like events where there's going to be, you know, more people allowed in rooms, I think that's going to be the last thing that we're going to see. If we even see it this year, I'd be surprised. But you know, that the health and the safety of people is much more important than walking in and picking a check up for hosting an event. And all I'm thinking is that hopefully after this, people will turn around and want to support more charities. And I think the main thing that it's hopefully made people realise, from my point of view, is that everyone's always gone to me, oh Claire, all you ever want to do is be on a stage with a microphone. And David, you'll know as well as I do, I used to say, no, I do it a lot of the time without being paid, because I want to support that charity, I want to support that person. And you know, you're looking up and you're seeing so many people, I'm recording this song for this and I'm doing that. You're not, you're doing it to like get a bit of attention seeking, which is fine, because that's your way of getting through your pandemic. And you know, I'm not going to knock anyone for that, but hopefully the one thing for me is it'll have made people see that I am quite genuine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the one person that matters that thinks they're genuine is yourself. And you know, everyone's got an opinion, but a lot of opinions are going around at the moment with what they're doing, and then we're seeing different people that are working during this time. So how are you finding the new normal of seeing people doing things and
well, it's like, well, I started the job at Whiston Hospital in September. I can kind of see, I knew what was coming at Greatest Hits, that things were changing a lot. I've worked extensively with Whiston Hospital over about last 6 years, and I found obviously that the job of the charity fundraiser to run the money for both St Helens and Whiston Hospital, was coming up. So for the first time in my life, rather than doing an audition and walking in and singing a song, I had to go for interviews. Never been so scared in my life. And originally this was like a 3-day job, and amazingly I got it, which I'm so grateful for. So I started there in September, and just on 3 days a week alongside the radio. Never felt so welcome in my life. And then obviously this has come along, and we've been overwhelmed by people sending gifts, donations, toiletries in for our staff. So I've kind of jumped off running the charities, and I'm dealing with all the donations that are coming in for staff. And I think to actually be there and see what's going on and see frontline people putting their lives at risk every day is just the most humbling experience. I'm not somebody who ever really looks at anything I do, but I have to say, for the first time in my whole life, I actually feel really proud of myself. And I feel like I can turn around to my kids when they're going to talk about it, and grandkids in years to come, and I feel like I've somewhere, obviously nowhere near like others have, but I feel like I've somewhere helped along the line.
Well, that's it. You know, I think you certainly downplay yourself, because a lot of the events that you do host have been successful because of the way you hosted and portrayed and clawed that money out of that person's pocket and stuff. And that really benefit Whiston Hospital. So what are you finding with the generosity, and how is the hospital running at the moment under these strict times?
Yeah, the hospital, I mean, obviously we've seen it go straight from sort of having no visitors, and you know, it's been absolutely heartbreaking, some of the stories. And you know, when you sort of going up to ICU, because people have been funding things for like grab and go trolleys, you know, for the staff on the COVID wards who can't come out, they have to stay in there all day. So people have been so generous, you know, donating like protein bars. And at the beginning, when they couldn't shop, people were going like food shopping and then getting extra shopping and dropping it off for the staff, and you know, to try and sort of distribute that between St Helens, between Whiston, between Newton Hospital. We've got the other Newton Community Hospital in Newton the Willows. Also, you know, we've got the walk-in centre in St Helens, and you just see, you know, right the way through from anyone on reception to the people working on, like, you know, 5A, which was one of the ones that was fairly, you know, sort of affected ward by it. And you just feel that, like, I don't know, we're in a year of like, hopefully now, when you were growing up, when certainly I was growing up in the like 40s, you know how old I am, it was always like, you know, you want to be nurses or doctors or things, and now it's just, I want to be a reality TV star, I want to be that. I think people are realising now that your NHS workers, you know, everybody, all your key workers, not just people within the hospital, you know, there's people putting their lives at risk every day, and I genuinely think the world's going to come out a better place. I really do, David.
And for yourself, with all your radio and your hosting and stuff, can you see a future in that now with the new normal of the pandemic? Do you think the way it's going to change?
I think initially it might be, you know, they'll limit how many can go to events. But something I found out from my brother the other day that I didn't know, when it was the Spanish flu, I think in 1918, wasn't it? Something like that. Again, I wasn't quite born. But it was, they did social distancing then. And, you know, we've never known social distancing in our life. So what I'm saying is the world does come back round again. And I do think it will. And hopefully, you know, it'll, I mean, I can't say it'll change me, because I've always just gone, yeah, I'll do. Everyone's gone, oh, you do too much, you do this, you do that. Hopefully all the people who, like, you ring on a Friday night and they go, oh, I'm not coming out because I'm tired. Hopefully I'll make them think, do you know what? This is, let's live. I've always lived my life in that if something happened tomorrow, I'd never have any regrets. Yeah, there's been days when I've worked 24 hours and I've got up and done it again, and I've come back and done this, and everyone goes, oh, but it should hopefully make people a lot more like that now they've realised what they've missed out on.
Yeah. And have you been able to reflect? Obviously, you've been so busy doing all the good work you're doing, but have you been able to reflect on what you achieved and what you want to do in the future?
I think the other thing is it has made me think as well that I've got to spend a lot more time, because obviously I live with my mum anyway, but my mum's been on permanent lockdown for 3 years. She's not been out the blinking house apart from once. So I think it's been nice to be able to spend some time with her rather than just running in and going, oh, I've got to I've got to cook tea and then get out to another gig or do what it is I'm doing. So that's been nice. And obviously spending time with Melody, going on walks and going to the beach and rolling down sand hills. But it's kind of made me realise that, obviously I still want to do radio, I still want to host events, but I quite enjoy having a normal life. Does that sound really bad?
No.
I quite enjoy it. I am enjoying being normal. I don't think I'll ever be normal, but as close to normal as you can be.
So can you take anything that you've learned during this time and think, I need to implement that in my life now?
I think the thing that I need to do is, and people, I do have to sort of go, it's things like, I have to find time for me to say, right, do you know what? I'm not working that time, because I am going to have that night in with my family or with my boyfriend or to do what I'm doing. And I think you're going to sit there, and I sit there and go, God, I'm driving back and forth to West Derby 3 times a week with dancing, or I'm on a football pitch, and on the days when I kind of think, oh, I need a break from it, it'll make me think, you know what, actually no, because this is what my kids thrive on.
That's it. You very much, you live for the kid to give them the best that you can. Mm-hmm. So, is there any advice for people who, if they want to help Whiston Hospital or be able to get involved, how can they get involved and where?
Well, the thing is now, obviously, fingers crossed with things looking a little better, that the donations have started slowing down. So I'm going back onto the charity side of it. Again, I had a whole year of events planned out to raise money for the charity, with charity football matches. Also, we had like an ab sale planned. Obviously, all of that's had to go on hold. But I think we're a lot of the opinion now that, the whole point of our charities is making the hospital a brighter place for our patients. So if you could donate, any money to the charities, that'd be fantastic. Perhaps maybe set up a Just Giving page. A lot of people are doing some like online, if you're thinking of walking so many miles or something, if you chose our charity, it really is one of those charities that is going back into the patients. And obviously it's helped the patients during this time as well.
Do you find with society now, do you think their attitude towards the NHS will change and go, I want to support the charity within that hospital to be able to survive? Because this time, I would imagine, has tested a lot of charities that do rely on fundraising.
Mm-hmm. It does, and it is, and the amount of money that's been raised, across the whole sort of country, NHS, you can apply to be a part of that charity, and we still have our own separate charity for the hospitals as well. And I think it's made people sit there, and this sounds an awful thing to say, and it's not a criticism on people, but you know as well as I do that when a lot of people take hospitals for granted. It's just like, oh, it's there, and I don't think anyone's sort of sat there and gone and realise the amount of work. And I think, like I say, I think that the children from like sort of Melody's age and younger and things like that, they're growing up now, looking at the NHS as heroes, and that's exactly what they're seeing, which is what it should have been. And it's a terrible shame that it's taken this to come to it, but that the ones they're looking up to are your NHS workers. But on the other hand, I don't want to rule out, let's forget people who are working in shops. They're just as much on the line, if not more in some cases, that they're in there, they're seeing people. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion's coming along, like I said before. I really, I've got a mum at home with pulmonary fibrosis. I go through every single precaution I can when I come home to make sure she's okay. But, my kids will sort of say, well, hang on a minute, why can't we go out, but you can go in a hospital every day? Or I know people who are working in shops and their kids are saying the same. So I get all of that, but it's just about being sensible, isn't it?
That's it. And are you going to be more cautious and concerned going out and meeting people and trying to lead a normal life in the coming days and months and years?
I think the thing is, I know this sounds really silly, but with working in the hospital and the measures that are in place there and that they have worked, it sort of made me a bit more confident in public. Do you know what I mean? Because I kind of, if somebody's not doing something or somebody's trying to get in my face, I mean, I'm not a confrontational person at all, but if someone's taking no notice of it and I feel are invading the space, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
And I'll just, hang on a minute. It's like, just for example, the other day, you were only allowed 2 people in the lift, and a couple got in with me, and they said, oh, I'll be all right, there's only an extra one. And I said, no, you're all right, I'll get out. Because I just thought, you know what, just listen to the rules, listen to what you're being told, because you'll be the first to complain, if anything should happen.
That's it. So for everyone that's watching, where can they find you if they want to see what Claire's up to on like Instagram or anything that we can get to, and to see what work you are doing? Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, just Claire Simmo, ClaireSimmo, or the same on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram as Claire Simmo 16. 16 for the 16th of July, which is my birthday, just so you know.
No, that's brilliant, and we certainly hope to see you in very soon. And thank you so much for being a part of Changing Times.
Thank you for asking me. I think my arm's like going like that with me thinking. Your speech looks so well as well, David.
Well,
honestly, fantastic.
I'm doing as I'm told, and I'm staying in, and we're doing all right.
Oh, you got your mum there. Your mum, you never grow up, so you'll always be the same. You have to do as you're told by your mum.
Oh, definitely, and I don't think she'll let me do anything else otherwise.
Loads of love to you all anyway.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.